Apple is now an eco-terrorist. Well, they always have been, but Tim Cooks with seed oils is now on a mission to remove all the carbon from the atmosphere, which would end all life on Earth. In a video the CEO released about the company's green initiatives, the once largest child resume builder has now announced they reduced their water usage by 63 billion gallons by giving the kids in their factories Prime instead of water. I made that part up, but you gotta admit it's a good idea. The video is about them meeting with Mother Nature, who arrives late. Kinda racist? Now, no one at Apple is creative enough to realize this, but the commercial portrayed people scared for their jobs, conforming for the person who shows up and demands you follow their views on the world, which is just the majority of corporate America. Also, I was half joking about them being eco-terrorists, but I may be onto something. France has banned iPhones due to their radiation output. And to solve the issue, Apple pushed a new iOS update. An update. Turns out Chernobyl just needed to update the computer. Steve Jobs was slowly fading away and starting to look like the fucking aliens in Mexico, and he still innovated better than Mr. Vanilla Ice Cream. On the topic of people fading away, Biden has new merch. The Biden administration has dropped a color-changing mug playing on his Dark Brandon meme. The mug turns red every time there's a wildfire in the US. Not really, but that would be cool. I just know this will be in the background of the next NPR Tiny Desk. Clearly, inflation is now impacting the Biden administration, no matter how much KJP ignores it like she ignores Peter Doocy. But if the president is selling merch, it's time I do too. And we will have mugs that you aren't allowed to sip on during a Zoom call. The president selling merch isn't the only sign of a hurt economy. McDonald's self-serve machines are gone. McDonald's is getting rid of self-service soda machines in another act of having our rights as Americans stripped from us. The days of
sweet dollar tea from McDonald's.
Yep.
I drink that.
Are gone, and it's a sad day. The company said this is to keep the dining experience consistent, except there's nothing consistent about people who eat McDonald's. In this act of having your freedom taken away, I sound like Sean Hannity. This means the youth of America will never experience what it's like to mix every soda together for a near lethal dose of high fructose corn syrup. And honestly, we should retaliate, like Ukraine is now making threats to an internet provider, which is something I can sympathize with. I do that every time I have to call Spectrum. Ukraine is mad at Elon Musk for cutting their Starlink internet. Elon learned Ukraine was planning a sneak drone attack on a Russian fleet that relied on Starlink, so Elon turned Starlink off because he wanted to avoid nuclear war and keep tweeting. If you're relying on an internet service only people who play Call of Duty from a national park use, you may want to reevaluate your military's infrastructure. Ukraine says Starlink is vital to their success, but the last soldiers that resisted the world's strongest military for 20 years did it with just cricket wireless and flip-flops.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The Semi-Daily Night Show with Gary TV, your host, Gary.
Tonight's ceremonial first pitch, and please welcome the President of the United States.
We did it, sir.
just making sure you're paying attention.
Welcome to the Semi-Daily Night Show. Alien bodies have been recovered and were shown to the Mexican Congress, but if you look closer, you are looking at Nancy Pelosi. A self-proclaimed UFOologist presented the 1,000-year-old not-human mummies, and they may actually just be Hasbullah's grandparents. A forensic expert and military doctor and probable drug addict then presented scans of the alleged aliens to the Congress, stating that the beings once had large brains, so it may not be Nancy Pelosi. But we have seen these things before.
That's selling chocolate. Yeah! Chocolate. I remember when they first invented chocolate. Sweet, sweet chocolate.
Nancy Pelosi has announced re-election. The Congresswoman is 83, so young for politician standards. It is a bit odd one of the best stock traders of our life is choosing such a humble job. Surely she did this out of the greatness of her heart. The US government lost an F-35 jet. The government tweeted out that it needs help finding it with the hotline. Rumor has it it's being flown to Ukraine. I made up that rumor, but it's funny. The pilot emergency ejected out of the plane, and we have live footage. The $100 million jet remained in flight due to its autopilot and has allegedly crashed, and it left as much debris as the plane that hit the Pentagon on 9/11.
I don't like to put chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Something else that can't be found. $41 million were stolen by North Korea from the online gambling site Stake. And a matter of fact, in 2022, the state-sponsored North Korean group Lazarus stole $3.8 billion in crypto funds. I'm allergic to North Koreans. Is that racist? The only thing larger than that sum of money is their leader.
Nice and handsome, thin.
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Young. 잘생기게 아름답게 찍어달라고.
I make fun of the Dunkin' Donut dictator and I don't even get a chuckle. It's a tough crowd. A Republican congresswoman has been kicked out of a theater for vaping. Lauren Boebert was kicked out of Beetlejuice, and the video has leaked where she's spotted vaping. The upgraded Sarah Palin might win over Gen Z voters now, except Harry, his sleep paralysis demon is Trump. The left is saying this was trashy and that Republicans are not being very conservative. And it isn't very conservative. But it is what the Democratic leaders want taught in the first grade, so both sides are dumb as usual. Lauren has apologized for what looks like having a fun night and has blamed it on her divorce. I don't think she'll be married again soon. Also, who the watches Beetlejuice outside of October? The Senate dress code has ended, which means politicians don't have to wear suits. You expect someone in a suit to be professional the same way you expect a guy in a fuzzy bucket hat to tell you chemicals in the water are probably turning the frogs gay. This comes as Senator John Fetterman, who looks like a guy that would ride a tricycle in Sons of Anarchy, is known for wearing gym shorts and Carhartt shirts. Wait a minute. It is a bit hypocritical that I criticize a man for quite literally wearing what I wear, but I'm not a public servant. I'm a guy who screams at a camera in front of his room every day. And the last time someone in power dressed like they just woke up, we got Facebook. So this may be a good thing or a bad thing. But since all of our politicians look like mummies, they can wear hospital gowns now to work.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live!